Welcome back to the Legend of Heroes Trails to Azure. We are still in the Azure Tree and once more stand in front of a golden lion mini-boss. Or golden chimera, whatever. A large golden cryptid in the form of a lion. The shaking of its mane distorts space and time. Yeah, we heard that all already. Need some more? Yep, we can. Yeah, Randy will never get a turn again. Unless we do something. Galleon Tower. Beast ignores the turn order bars. Else do we have? Space Marine? Good. And there is another shortcut, I think. Yep. And down here is the path to the Macabre. A domain. Where are we now? Looks like this is as far as the holy precincts go. Like there's an elevator. And that gate likely leads to another domain. With another seal up ahead to go along with it. There's only one person left this domain could belong to. You finally arrived. Arios. Just as I suspected. I thought as much. I'm pleasantly surprised. I didn't expect you to overcome the ogre. That can only mean you no longer harbor the uncertainty you carried when we first met. But enough talk. I will be waiting at the end of my domain. Well, it's the home stretch. Yes, for so long Arios has been the standard the SSS held itself to. as well as our greatest rival. Now that you mention it, we've known him for just as long as we've known each other. Yeah, I'll never forget the day he rescued us when we were trying to protect Ryu and Anri in the Geofront. So that's how it went. Sounds like you all have quite an eventful history. Let's go, Arios is waiting for us. Right. Roger, we'll go. Yeah, and the last path here is an elevator. Good. Arios domain. A prison. At least that is what it looks like to me. Domain of Penance. What is all of this? These are the depths of MacLaine's inner self. Look at all these chains. They're practically innumerable. Just how many birds could he be shouldering? Too many, that's for damn sure. The Scarlet Ogre may have put us through hell, but Arios' stake in this is clearly on a different level. This might even rival our battle against the Steel Maiden. Be that as it may though, we've gone too far to turn back now. We have to overcome this, to take Kia back, to bring the truth to light, and to fulfill our promise to Shizuku. As long as we give it our all, body and soul, even the divine blade of Wind's domain is no match for us. I'm finally here. The reality of what happened on that day 3 years ago is just ahead. Hold on a little longer, guy. I'm going to drag the facts out into the open once and for all. Titania and Astral Domina. Let's get rid of the Titanias. Astral Domina, an ancient evil spirit clad in freezing air, capable of casting powerful arts at will. Ow! Argent Key. I don't know, seems to me like 8 blades, 1 leaf would be more impressive. Zero Knight. He had one before. Wind Sabbath. Why is he the Divine Blade of Wind? Because he is Arios. I'm sorry, that was pretty MacLaine. Okay, so an Argent key for a silver door. Titania A, a forbidden alchemical creation that generates mysterious force fields to distort space itself. What are you? Pazuzu. Pazuzu, an evil spirit that can call forth storms and vermin, sowing chaos wherever it goes. Stealth. Sleep 2. 61 of 61. But I couldn't wait till midnight. Genevieve replied through a fit of giddiness. She lied in the hug, but only so she could plant a long overdue kiss. I've missed you. Oh, I love you so much, Jubilee. Trails in the Chest Part 2. End? Question mark? Those go down and those go up, and now we need to find a way there somehow. And one of the other bridges wasn't finished either. Goldia key. Damn, I was one dungeon away from talking chest retirement too.
任せておけ。邪魔だ。
私の番ね。エニグマ。私の番ですね。やあ、
いいだろ。そこだ。
任せてやって。まだまだいける。
みんなチャンスよ。
Really?
さあ、
私の番ですね。
任せて。ぬるいな。
So, and another. We need another one.
敵発見。強制
俺の
反
私の
Strike them, not just run into them.
私の番ね。
さあ、行くぞ。邪魔だ。任せとしゃ。
行くぞ。悪いな。先に行かせてもらうよ。
Evergreen. 11 months ago, the SSS gained its foremost rival in Arios. It's only fitting they'd have to overcome him to see the story through to the end. You can do this. Chest. Ooh.
よし、私に続け。
よし、上出来だ。
グッジョブです。
Mjolnir. Lloyd decided that after all of this, he would take a fishing trip on his new boat, the SSS. Yeah, Mjolnir is of course not better than Infinity.
Sa, かかってこい。
いいだろう。正義の炎。
了解です。任せてくれ。
私の番だな。
任せて。お任せを。バックライフ。
俺の番だ。よし、上出来だ。
悪くない。
Noval Key. Soon, ordered to await you are Erebonian chests. Time for Ultra Silence! For now. There was another path I just didn't take. There's a treasure chest I don't have. Azuzus.
覚悟
任せておけ。よし、私に続け。
任せてくれ。みんな大丈夫か。
Time gem. Trails to treasure. Psst. Wanna know a secret exploit to respawn all the chests you've opened so far? Get this. All you have to do is go to the title screen and select New Game. Yeah, it works. Anyway, back to where we were. To the black door. And Arios.
至ったか。
You're here. Arios.
もう。
What, not gonna wear those snazzy new threads of yours, Mr. Secretary? I only wore that uniform at President Croiss's behest. Frankly, I was never comfortable in it. After the declaration of invalidity, I haven't felt as though I have a right to wear it. I stand before you not as a bracer, nor as the Secretary of Defense, but as a tainted swordsman wielding a tarnished blade. Nothing more, nothing less. MacLaine.
どうしてそこ
How
まで
did it come to this?
律儀すぎです
He's a self-discipline to a fault. I don't know what to say. I have so many questions I want to ask you, but it's hard to sort them out in my head. But I guess the first one should be, are you willing to answer them? Of course, that was my intention. Ask away. I will answer any question you have, save for one. Alright. The accident 5 years ago. I'm sorry for bringing up painful memories. But could you tell us about the accident that happened 5 years ago? Yes, we don't need to hide it any longer. That accident was caused by a truck exploding on a street in the middle of a city. It was, as I'm sure you've all realized, a product of an information war between Arabonia and Calvert.
やはり
Just as we thought. Don't pretend that everyone in the First Division doesn't already know the truth. Of course, the top brass made the call to keep the entire thing under wraps to avoid angering the Imperial and Republican factions. But though I was devastated at the time, I don't hold any resentment. There's still no excuse for it. When your wife and Shizuku... Yes, there was much that my family lost that day. Saya her life, and Shizuku her sight. In the 5 years since, both countries' intelligence agencies have developed, and incidents of sabotage have ceased. But the truth remains that their feud in the shadows has resulted in decades worth of victims like Saya. That would include your parents, Lloyd, as well as the family of Mr. Grimwood. The hell? Didn't Lloyd's parents? Yes, they passed away 15 years ago in an airship crash. Right. Just like I mentioned back at the cemetery. It was so little at the time that I can barely even remember it. You then also mean to say that accident also claimed Mr. Grimwood's family, do you? But I do. His wife and children were aboard that airship as well. I was lucky to still have Shizuku. I can't imagine the agony that comes with losing everything you hold dear.
想像もつかないくらいだろう。そしてその時
After the incident, Mr. Grimwood and Guy came to know one another, and sharing their mourning for a family they had lost.
その情報
Even the first division was unaware their connection went so deep.
そして5年前の事件で
After that incident 5 years ago, I turned in my police badge and went knocking on the Bracenicle's door.
警察への
I had my reasons for resigning.
雫の入院
The cost of Shizuku's hospital bills, my dissatisfaction with the department.
単に
But above all,
鞘を失った悲し
I was running away from the pain of losing Saya.
だけかもしれないその気になれば
With the Breaker's workload, I was never short on distractions. I could strip myself of any moments of grief.
アリオスさん
Arios,
今まで
the families of Yin's targets must go through this very same thing.
ずっと
There's been something I haven't been able to shake from my mind all this time.
どうして
It's how we ever became involved with this scheme in the
あな
first
たの
place.
存在が結びつくのかと
Oh?
確かにおじさん
Uncle Dieter and Belle are well versed in banking economics, and their lineage links them to the cult, but it doesn't fill every gap.
帝国と共
Like how you knew about the information war between the Empire and Republic for one.
そのあたり
I
の
don't buy that
事情
either
を
of those
通じて
two had the contacts to know about that sort of thing.
お互い接点
Nor do you have any prior connections to her family.
なのに
And yet, once Mr. Croix took office as president, he immediately appointed you as Secretary of Defense.
指名した
なるほど
Which can only mean one
そう
thing.
いうことかその両
Mr.
者を
Grimwood
結
is
び
the
つけたのは
intermediary between you and the
イアン
Croix
先
family.
生だったというわけか
え
Exactly.
え違いますか
Do you dispute that? No, you assume correctly.
その通りだ警察時代
Just like the SS guy and I often relied on Mr. Grimwood
俺と
and his
ガイ
information
イアン
network.
先生の情
He
報
was
には
pivotal in
随
a
分助け
fair
られた
number of our cases.
教団の
He was so well informed that he was even called upon as a civil advisor during the operation to purge the cult's lodges.
そして有言
After I
信
became a
な
bracer, I continued to exchange information with him on a regular basis.
一方で先生
As for the Croix family,
IBC
Mr. Grimwood was already acquainted with them due to the IBC's legal affairs.
そして
The nature of his position allowed him to amass all the information and resources he required into one place.
黒い寿司は
Every step Croix took toward gaining our independence, as well as the power of a Septarian, was by Mr. Grimwood's
ク
design.
ロスベル独立を成し遂げたその裏で
All the while, both his daughter and his legal counsel were working toward their master plan behind his
進めら
back.
れているとも知らずに
真の計
Their
画
master plan,
青きゼロの
the
計画
Azure Zero project.
そう
Precisely. Didn't take long for Mr. Grimwood to realize the truth about the incident Saya and Shizuku suffered.
気づいていたそして
He informed me of it shortly after.
打ち明け
That was what led me to cooperate with him.
こととなったこれが
There's your
いき
answer.
さつのすべてだ
So everything has gone according to Mr. Grimwood and Maria Bell's plan.
手のひらの上
とんでもねえ
That's one hell of a story. Key and the auction.
これも同じく
While we're asking questions here, there's something I've been wondering about.
キアを
You were the one who moved Kia from the bottom of a Sunford, weren't you?
アリオスそして
Then you swapped her with a Rosenberg doll that was meant to be sold off at the
ローゼ
Schwarzer
ンベルク
auction.
人形と入れ替えたのも
そういえ
Now
ば
that you mention it,
確かに
we never did manage to solve that particular side of the mystery.
明らかになっていませんね
ああその
It's just as you say.
それに関して
But
は
the
先
idea
生では
itself was actually Maria Bell's, not Mr. Grimwood's.
どうやら彼女は
Having foreseen Joachim's actions to their finest points, she knew exactly how to exploit them.
彼女の
She was easily able to teleport us to the fort's lowest stratum, whereupon we freed the girl from the cradle atop the
ゆり
altar.
かごから解放したそして俺は
I then switched her with a Rosenberg doll that was brought from a Mafaria.
ローゼンベルク人形とあの子をすり替えた
Mariabel was also the one who arranged for the doll to be put up for the auction, with Vash none the wiser.
マリアベル城が用意したものだがな。
そんなことも
To think she was so involved.
しかし
I still don't understand
そ
though.
んなことをして
What would Mariabel gain by doing that in the first place?
計画に
If she needed Tia for the project, why not just take her into custody until the time was right?
一つは
First, she wanted to involve Heiyu to further jeopardize Ravash's position, and begin the chain that would lead to their downfall.
とすること。もし
Her plan was for the child to awaken during the auction, allowing Mariabel to publicly spring into action.
動いたはずだ。動揺する
With Marconi and his bewildered guest as an audience, she would volunteer to take custody of the girl on behalf of the IBC.
ヘイユエが動いたら
Were Heiyu to take action at that point, things would have likely gone awry.
いずれにせ
Thus, as a precaution,
あの時は
I remained undercover in the manor to observe.
どんな展
We
開
had a contingency plan for every possible outcome that could have occurred.
なんつうか
You two are crazy with a capital C, I swear.
用意し
Until now, I wasn't aware it was possible to be too prepared.
確かにあの時
I did suspect there was someone else lurking in the shadows that night.
気配を感じましたけど
そしてもう一
As
つ
for a second motive,
あのような
Mariabel wished to gauge the potential of the Septarian by having it awaken under extraordinary circumstances.
キアの潜在能力
Gauge her potential?
どういう
What
こ
does
とです
that mean?
さて
Those were Mariabel's words, so I couldn't tell you precisely.
おそらく
It may have been one of the conditions necessary to rouse the child from a long slumber,
一つなのかもしれないがいずれにせよ
but whether by coincidence or the hand of Adius, she finally awoke when you were in her presence.
彼女はお前たちの前で目覚めたマリアベル
I
城
doubt even Mariabel could have anticipated
完全
that,
に想定外だったはずだがあの子がお前
but
た
she
ち
didn't seem to mind, nor did she object to all of you taking a child in under your wing.
歓迎しているかのようだったダメだ
Well, I'm stumped. Hell if I can get into her headspace.
ベル
Belle, what in the world were you planning? The day Guy Bennings's died.
それじゃ
There's just one more thing.
兄貴が
I want you to tell me what really happened on the day my brother died.
その真実
Can you do that?
を教えてもらえますか
いいだろう
Very well.
鞘をなくして
It was 3 years after I resigned from the police following Saya's passing.
俺は
I had been cooperating with Mr. Grimwood and the others as they laid the groundwork for their
い
plan.
くつもの工作を成し遂げていたいずれも失
None of it was legal.
陰謀
They had
に
already
起こす
woven quite a conspiracy at that point.
だが
However, no one, not even the guild, had an inkling of what was taking shape beneath Crossbear's surface.
ガイ・バニン
Save for one exception,
かつての俺
my
の
former
相棒を除い
partner,
ては
Guy Bennings.
ガイは
Guy was tenacious and had a keen eye for finding the truth.
凄まじいほどの
At the time, he was closing in on a number of hidden
様々な
plots.
陰謀と秘密に迫っていた帝国と
From the information war between Arabonia and Calvert,
ハルトマン
to
の
Speaker Hartman's connection with Avage and the remnants of a DG cult.
DG 教団残党の動きそのさらに
After digging deeper, he came upon the Croix family's plans buried behind it all.
そして
And then,
あの雨
one rainy day, Guy asked me to meet with him at the newly established construction site of Orcus Tower.
建設現場に呼び出した無論
Suffice it to say, he hadn't uncovered all of the project's details,
ガイの推
but
測
Guy's
は
suspicions
的確
were
で
shockingly
計
accurate,
画の全体
right down to the scope of the plan itself.
教団と
He
マフィア
predicted
を
that
利用
Croix
した
would utilize the cult and mafia to eventually ascend to the top of the political world.
外国
He
勢力の
predicted
仕
that
業
a
に
foreign power would be framed of an
クロス
attack
ベ
on
ースを
Crossbear
進出
City,
させることで
fueling the bid for
ロスの
state
機運を煽る
independence.
ことさらには
He even predicted that Croix's family aimed to create something that could intimidate and seize control of the entire continent.
信じがたい
To my surprise,
そん
he
な
had
こと
gotten to
を
the
指摘
very
した
heart of the conspiracy.
そして
After that, Guy refused to back down. It was clear this wasn't something you could resolve with words. And so we began our fight to the death as the rain poured down upon us. Between the two of us, I was always the better fighter, but Guy's strength came from his unbreakable will. Our duel raged on as we traded blow after blow, exhausting each other's stamina as the rain continued to fall. Until finally, Guy lost his life. I was the one that took his tonfa from the scene of the crime. I did it to hide the evidence, the scars that my touch left on them. So that was why. There you have it. The truth of what transpired on that rainy day. The mafioso wandering off his Guy's badge was an unforeseen twist. But with that, I believe I've answered every question you could have. There should be no more room for doubt. No. You know as well as I do that my brother died from a bullet to the back. Why leave out the cause of death in your account of that day? I was a member of a police force. It only follows that they couldn't wield a gun. His possessions left him no choice. It was my last resort to settle our fight. You're lying, MacLaine. You would have never had the opportunity to draw a second weapon while fighting for your life. And you sure as hell wouldn't have been able to shoot him in the back. About time you fessed up, Paul. Indeed. Who really shot Guy? Please tell us. You can frame it however you like, but the facts remain that my actions were what led to Guy's death. But even still, I chose to continue working on the project that had taken my former partner's life. Even now, I'm desecrating the life of an innocent girl to complete that very same project. Every sin I've committed has been for the sake of avenging Saya, as well as securing Shizuku's future. Do you truly believe Shizuku is happy about what you're doing? I'm perfectly aware that she isn't. But Crossbell's ill-starred fate stole her mother from the world, the light from her eyes. So long as the state retains its status as a geostrategic position, it will have no hope of salvation. That is, unless we experience a miracle that transcends the laws of the human world. 3 years ago, Guy lost his life in a mortal combat against me.